Hello and welcome to this FPL Double Game Week 34 free hit guide with me, Holly Shand. If you've still got that free hit chip remaining, this looks like as the biggest double, the best game week to use it between now and the end of the season. If you haven't though, don't worry, this video will still give you plenty of advice of the optimal picks to go for as we target the doubles. Help me get to 18k subs by the end of the season. Let's get into it. Looking at the Fantasy Football Hub fixture ticker then, sorting teams by their fixtures in game week 34, there's four key teams that dominate: Liverpool, Brighton, Manchester City and Manchester United. And the luxury is that we could possibly make a free hit 11 using players exclusively from those teams, but we do need to be aware that West Ham and Fulham also have a double game week, and we've also got Brentford and Newcastle that do have favourable single game week fixtures. So I'm going to go through each of the double game week teams and pick out some of their top targets. You can get the fully customisable Fantasy Football Hub fixture ticker as part of your membership. Hit the link in the description below to save 30%. Starting off with Liverpool then, and it feels like a throwback to free hit 32, trying to decide on the optimal triple up. I think we have to go with three, and two players that are a lock are Mo Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Salah has the form, he's also on penalties, he's the one that tends to avoid rotation in that Liverpool attack as that fixture schedule has got a bit condensed in the last week or so. Trent has moved into midfield, so he's playing out of position now in FPL, and he's been an absolute assist machine since that tweak in Klopp's formation. So hopefully he can add some clean sheets to go alongside those assists that he keeps going. The big decision is, do you go double defence or double attack? And the key options here are Robertson and Jota. Now, I feel like Robertson will continue to tick along, but he's not been as offensive since that tweak in formation. He seems to be staying back, with Trent having the licence to get forward on the other flank. So I feel like if you've got the funds to go with Jota, which you probably do have in a free hit draft, he could potentially be the one to go for, because in the last couple of games he's been really delivering goals. The only problem to deal with here is his minutes, because, you know, he has only just come back from a quite lengthy injury layoff. We could see a bit of rotation for him, so it's a difficult one to weigh up. There's pros and cons to each. Moving on to Brighton then, and the goalkeeper situation at the time of recording is still unresolved, and even if Steele keeps his place for game week 33 fixture, a poor performance could see him ousted for Sanchez anyway, or vice versa. So I feel like we have to avoid the Brighton goalkeeper right now, but the defence looks really solid and there's plenty of clean sheet potential given their fixtures, especially at home to Wolves. So I think it's important to include a defensive option, and Estupiñán is the one that carries most attacking threat, so I think he's a really good option to plug into our defences. Obviously the attacking potential here is plentiful, but with McAllister potentially set for a more deeper role in the upcoming games, playing more as a central defensive midfielder than in the 10 role, I think it's going to be March and Matoma who are now the key picks. I know McAllister still have pens, but it's March that's kind of the engine room in this Brighton attack, and we know that Matoma can be an absolute stat buster and pop up with goals at any moment. Moving on to Manchester City then, and again plenty of options out there. Haaland is going to be a lock in a lot of our squads, and rightly so. And I feel like if you want a slice of the defence and you don't want to worry about rotation, then Edison is a really useful pickup, because we know he's absolutely nailed to play in any game, as City look to hunt clean sheets against Fulham and West Ham. Now, in terms of the third player in our squad, I think it's far more exciting to invest in City's attack than their defence. Rotation is always an issue, but Grealish has kind of been a mainstay of Pep's squads since the FPL restart, and we've also got Mahrez showing a little bit of form in recent games as a bit of a riskier pick. Now, if you've got loads of team value, then you could include De Bruyne in there as well, but I think when we've got the locks of Haaland and Salah in our squads and Trent in defence, it becomes very difficult to afford someone like KDB, and he's got no greater guarantee of minutes compared to the likes of Grealish, so I think you just save the funds there. When it comes to Manchester United assets rotation, the injury for Bruno Fernandes and the lack of solidity in their defence with clean sheets makes their picks maybe not quite as appealing as they would have been a couple of weeks ago. So I think if you're wanting to focus on the key 4 teams on free hit and triple up on 3 of them, Manchester United is perhaps the team that you could maybe to look to get just 1 or 2 assets from. Marcus Rashford has to be a lock. He could be on pens if Fernandes is not available, and he's one of the highest scoring FPL players since the restart as well. Even though he had that little bit of an injury issue, he's back now and ready to deliver more goals in that amazing consistency. It's a shame that one of the fixtures is away because he has been far more prolific at Old Trafford. I think Luke Shaw could also be a good bet for our defences, because I think there is plenty of clean sheet potential over the 2 fixtures. And even though he's maybe moving to a more central role in the defence with Martinez out for the season, we've seen in games previously this season that when he's played centre-back, he's accumulated bonus points far more quickly, and those long balls over the top can provide a route to assist anyway. As I mentioned at the top, we do need to be mindful of some of the other double game week options. If you fancy a punt on someone from Fulham, I think Andreas Pereira is the one to go for. He's registering a high volume of shots. He's also on all set pieces, including penalties, in the absence of Mitrovic. But the fixtures are really tricky with Man City and Liverpool, so I wouldn't expect too much. West Ham's fixtures are a bit kinder, bit more to play for them as well. Crystal Palace and Man City away. I think if you're going for anyone, Bowen is the one to go for. But the problem is he is a little bit more expensive than the rest of their players, but he's the one with the form. So if you fancy a punt there, that's who I would be going with. And we can't forget some of the single game week options as well, especially those with high ownership. We've got Kieran Trippier at Newcastle, bonus point magnet, always potential for attacking returns as well. Newcastle have got a really nice fixture as well, Southampton at home. We know how solid Trippier has been as St James's Park this season. And don't discount Ivan Toney either. Brentford face Nottingham Forest at home. Toney continues to tick along with the goals. No sign of that FA suspension yet either, so he could be another one to watch with a single game week fixture. But for me, I think it's far more exciting to fill up your 11 with those double game week players. Here's my 11 then, and there's plenty of funds available to make this one affordable. I've gone with Ederson between the sticks for a nailed on route into that City defence to hopefully give us clean sheets. In the defence, Trent Alexander-Arnold must be a lock in everyone's free hit squads. I've paired him with Shaw and Estupinan on the hunt for some attacking returns, clean sheets and bonus there. It's a 5-man midfield, 3-5-2 formation. Double up on the Brighton midfield with March and Matoma, and then the key picks of Rashford and Salah are in there. And I've gone with Grealish as my additional Man City player to go alongside Haaland in the attack, alongside Diogo Jota. Hopefully rotation is kind when it comes to those fringe assets from City and Liverpool. Really tricky decision on the captaincy as well. I think if you're on free hit, it's a differential in itself, so you can probably afford to go a bit bolder with the captaincy. I mean, Mo Salah is the algorithm pick projected to score the most points according to the predictions on Fantasy Football Hub. So if you fancy the differential, if you're looking to make up ground on your rivals, go with Salah, particularly if your rivals don't even own Salah. But you know, we know what Haaland can produce in any given game. I hope you found this one useful. Any dilemmas, free hit or not, for game week 34, do get in the comments and I'll answer all of your questions within 24 hours of this video going live. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as well. Closing in on 18,000 subscribers. All your support this season is really appreciated.